What's the most intelligent thing your pet has ever done? I was playing a video game with headphones on when my dog ran into the room and started barking at me. Loud and constant. Right in my face. She ran to the kitchen then back to me. Barking the whole time. I went to the kitchen to find my cat choking on his food. A few sharp pats on the back and I was able to get him to cough it up. I didn't hear the choking sounds and she reacted quickly. She saved his life that night. I have 2 cats, both not quite a year old. One was somewhere in the house, but no clue, sleeping somewhere secret I assumed, but I had no idea where. I looked at the other cat who was in the room with me, and said, "Where is your sister, where is she?" She perked up, and trotted up the steps, down the hall, into my closet and walked behind the hanging clothes, and that's where the other one was sleeping. I was like, wow. They've never repeated this or anything else even close to intelligent. When we first started letting our kitten out, he'd occasionally wander off into other gardens for a while. There was a local stray cat that we'd feed, who eventually realized that when we left the garden we were usually looking for the kitten. He started to help us look, going into the gardens and each time returning with the kitten behind once he'd found him. When I was a kid I was at a friend's house. He had a twin sister and she had a friend over too. They also had 2 cats. So we were playing hide and seek. Me and my friend were seeking and the girls were hiding. Just for fun, I asked one of the cats where the girls were. Then we followed the cat, just for fun, as he went up the stairs and to an office room. We followed the cat into the room and found the girls there under the desk. We had to add a rule that you couldn't ask the cats for help when you were seeking. When I lived at home, my mom and I got 2 second-hand schnauzers. I bonded a little more with the boy dog who was a very uncomplicated pup. If my mom asked him where I was, he'd find me. If I was out and she told him I was coming home, he'd get excited and start watching at the window. Not particularly impressive on its own, but it was for him. My dim sister locked herself in the bathroom. Back up. She came home with her takeout food, put it on table at the end of the hallway, ran to bathroom and shut the door. Which had no knob as the door was getting worked on. Locking mechanism yes, knob no. So she was trapped. She shouted through the hole, where the mechanism was, for help. No one was home. Except our cats and one yellow dog. Who was actually a dingo, but I digress. Our black cat with slim Siamese frame, and big voice, ran to immediate aid. Meowing loudly, scratching the door. He even reached his arms under the door, trying to reach her. Maybe hoping to tear down the door itself. About 30 minutes later my mother arrived from work. Our rescue ranger cat quickly ran to her, said meow 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 meow. Then he'd take a step, stop, look back and meow as if to say, "Come with me. Hurry." The classic, Timmy fell down the well. Following me. My mother said she knew right away someone was in trouble. In contrast, when my sister was yelling for help, our dog wandered to the door but only to check that my sister was still trapped. Then the family dingo went to the fast food on the table, pulled it down, then slowly ripped through the bag until she found the burrito. Then she ate it while my enraged sister watched through the hole in the door. Re-yip, chomp chomp chomp, re-yip. Chomp chomp. My sister said if she had a rifle she'd have aimed through the little gap in the door at the dog. This was not unusual. This was the kind of dog that would have sold anyone to the Nazis for a few cigarettes. He started listening to the GPS in the car to say we've arrived so he can proactively get upset that I might leave him for a few minutes. I'm so glad he's putting his intellect to good use. My dog has learned the route from home to daycare, her absolute favorite place in the world, apparently, so now every time we get to one specific traffic light she starts having a party in the back seat. It's adorable, but I always feel bad on the, fortunately rare, occasion that we aren't actually going to daycare. Oh yes. My dog has learned a few driving routes as well. The lake is the most exciting. There is a farm/ranch sign about 3 kilometers before the lake turn and he squeals in anticipation the rest of the ride when he sees that sign. Adorable. My dog accidentally got out of my in-laws' yard, so he went to the front door to let us know he needed to be let back inside. My cat did the same thing once. It was Halloween and she snuck out when I was putting a bowl of candy on the front steps, and 10 minutes later, during which I was looking all over for her, because I have a habit of making sure I can see her inside whenever I open the door, even though this situation was the first time my fears had ever been correct. LOL, I heard meowing from outside the door and there had been so many kids and parents walking around. She could easily have been distracted and ran off, but she knew to come back. My hot water heater failed. My cat chased my boyfriend down and howled at him incessantly and led him to the basement where he heard running water. Her alerting him probably saved me tons of money of water damage. One of my cats would turn the sink on downstairs to a trickle and drink from it. I would get up in the morning and turn it off. Always just a trickle. Well water, so not too much of a pain. About 4 a.m. one night to him meowing loudly on my chest. I got up and he ran downstairs. Somehow a washcloth had clogged the sink and flooding everything. When I got to the sink he was on the counter pawing at the lever in a panic. Once I turned it off he ran and hid for a whole day. Cat likes to open doors with handles. He can open the handle doorknobs easily but knows the circular knobs requires both his paws. So imagine it's 3 a.m., pitch black, and you hear a doorknob jiggling like a human is trying to open it. Yeah, nightmare fuel. My cat was in my face as always and yawned. I took the opportunity to put my finger in his mouth to see how he'd react. He just gently closed his mouth on it and looked confused. I praised him for being so gentle and patient. Later that day, I had a very deep yawn myself. I gently closed my mouth around my cat's paw. He stuck his little hand in my mouth in an excellent imitation of my earlier behavior. We had a good laugh. My cat likes to play fetch. She will put her toy at my feet, then reach up and pat me to make sure I know that toy is there. She will keep on until I either throw it for her, or put it in the microwave lol. I have to show her that is where it is, so she will stop bugging me. I refuse to give my cats more treats. They sat down, looked at each other for a minute and then walked upstairs together. I followed. They woke my then 2-year-old from his nap, led him downstairs to the kitchen with nudges and encouraging sounds, and then went to the cupboard. One stopped to look for me. I pretended to read my phone in the front room. She returned to my kid and kept nudging him and redirecting him to the cupboard. He couldn't reach. They nudged him to the chair, which he happily pushed over to the counter and climbed. They hopped up and kept working together to direct him to the cat treats. They were so absorbed in this, that I walked right up behind the trio and waited until my toddler got the cupboard door open to be like, "Hi guys. Whatcha doing?" The cats immediately froze while my kid just clapped and handed the kitty treats to me. The older cat made a run for it while the younger one started rubbing against my leg and playing innocent. I got my son down and he helped me feed the kitties. I was not used to seeing planning, teamwork, communication, and outright deception from cats. That's crazy, but I'm not so surprised. I have 4 cats with very different personalities. One of them barely gets along with the other 3. One just wants to be left alone. The other 2 are buddies and play together but are not super close. The other day I saw the 4 in a circle in the living room, and they were staring at each other and I could swear they were nodding and moving their ears, like they were telepathically communicating. I thought they were about to fight but didn't say anything or do anything. They were just ignoring me. Then one of them jumped on a chair, 2 others moved to opposite corners of the room, and the 4th one went under the couch and swiped at something. A gecko came out running. They had positioned themselves to intercept the poor thing as soon as it came out. Fortunately I was able to save it and take it outside before they hurt it. I had seen that kind of planning in wolf and chimp documentaries on YouTube, but always thought that cats did not cooperate that way. I work from home. My cat wanted my attention, so she walked in front of my monitor. I shooed her away and continued with my work. She walked behind my monitor, looked me dead in the eye, and stepped on the power button to my power strip. The look said, "Now. Pet me." My smaller one will jump up and press the power button on my PC tower. I have to keep it covered now. I had a dog who literally understood a lot of what I said without actually teaching him. For example, if he came to my room and I was busy and didn't want him in the room, I'd say, "Not now, Bruce," and he'd leave. He wouldn't even come in my room unless I said it was okay. He was also emotionally intelligent because when we got a cat, he honestly was upset, depressed, would walk around looking at us with those big puppy eyes, head down, like, "You're replacing me." So I grabbed him and told him, "I still love you, boy. You aren't being replaced, you are still my dog and that's never ever changing." He perked up and wagged his tail and wasn't depressed after that. Dogs can definitely surprise you with their range of intelligence. Amazing. I had a dog named Bruce that understood English as well. Australian Shepherd. I was fixing the bathtub drain. Bruce was wandering around the house looking for me. It's a shepherd thing, so I'm told. He walked up to my then girlfriend now wife and sighed. It was obvious he was looking for me. MSBSEE said, "Bruce, he's in the bathroom in the bathtub." Dog walked straight to the bathroom, straight up to the bathtub, nosed open the curtain and found me.